What steps could be taken to deal with Pennsylvania's pension hole? I'm Jill Horner. This is Comcast Newsmakers. With me is Pennsylvania State Representative Chris Ross. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me, Jill.
We're talking about a $44 billion number when it comes to the hole in these two pension systems, state workers and teachers in the Commonwealth. Let's talk a little bit about what could potentially be done in order to work to mitigate this on some level. The governor has proposed some ideas. Let's talk about those.
Okay. Yeah, I think the governor really, I was pleased to see in his budget address that he said we've got to actually seriously start looking at this problem, which is huge, as you've mentioned, and is one that is going to eat us alive for a decade or two here if we don't do something about it. And he's got several different proposals together in one plan. First of all, he is looking for new hires to move them from a defined benefit to a defined contribution plan. It's a fairly generous program, and it is geared toward making sure that people who come to work for Pennsylvania will have a reasonable pension program that they can couple with Social Security and their own savings and have a decent retirement.
And that's just one component of this. Other components deal with existing employees and future wages and benefits. What does that mean?
Yeah. It would be great if we could do it entirely by shifting for the new hires, but we're not going to bring the cost down fast enough to address the problem over the next 5 to 10 years particularly. So we really need to try and work with our existing employees to protect them for the benefits they've already earned up till now, and then to look at what we might be able to do that still will give them a fair retirement, but also bring the costs down for the taxpayers. And the governor's proposed to change the multiplier down to something that would be, drop 0.5% off the multiplier of years of service, which will yield them a slightly lower pension retirement benefit. If they choose and want to protect that, they can contribute a bit more of their salary, and they will get what they continue to protect benefits over a period of time that way. So they've been given a couple of options here to try and rationalize this and make it a little more fair. And also, one of the other things is that we're going to try and make sure that they don't spike their pension benefits in the last couple of years by using a lot of excessive overtime to drive the number up unrealistically.
With those two ideas, changes for future wages and benefits for existing employees and the possible option of them purchasing back the plan that they currently have if this does move forward, is there a concern regarding the constitutionality of this because they do have existing contracts in place? Absolutely.
First of all, we wouldn't violate any of the existing contracts, but for at-will employees or at the end of a collective bargaining agreement, these would be working to go into effect. And this is a gray area of the law. There have been court cases that look like it might make this difficult under Pennsylvania law. So in order to deal with it, we're not going to make it effective until 2015, and we're going to go directly to the Supreme Court and get a ruling out of them as to whether or not this will be legal and accepted. If we fail, it'll just mean we have to go back closer to that higher contribution rate, greater amount of burden on taxpayers, but we think it's constructed in such a way so that it will wind up passing court scrutiny.
And just a few seconds left, there would not be changes for existing retirees, but is this a matter of taxpayers versus employees?
Absolutely. Somebody has to pay for this, and it's either going to wind up being coming out of the taxpayers' costs in reduced services or higher taxes, or there's going to be a little give on the workers. I think both sides are going to have to compromise and try and cooperate.
Thanks for being with us.
My pleasure.
We've been talking with Pennsylvania State Representative Chris Ross. I'm Jill Horner.